My message couldn't be simpler. It's time to hunker down. It's time to cancel everything. And if it isn't essential, don't do it. Don't meet up with others outside your household. Don't host a gathering. Don't attend a gathering. And following our targeted safer at home order, if you're able to stay home, stay home.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? I'm back. I bet you didn't expect to see me again, did you? You thought I was gone forever. And I'll admit, that was a long hiatus. Long hiatus for me. Didn't mean to be gone that long. I'm sorry that I left you guys in the dust for a little while. It's been a little over a month now since we last spoke. Since our last interaction together. But I had to make some changes. There's a lot more stuff shuffling around. I'm still figuring out the kinks. I'm still working out what's going on with the show. We're just trying to make it better for you guys. That's really what I'm doing. And it took a little while. And I also just needed a break from stuff. We got into a contentious time period. I don't know if you guys have been watching the news, but there was a presidential election happening. And yes, was that a month ago at this point? Yes. But I had to take some time off to figure out some kinks about the show. I mean, the world's been a crazy fucking place. And if you saw that video I just showed you, we're on lockdown again. The second wave, it hit. We're on lockdown again. And that's just how things are going. And I needed to take some time to figure out some other things. So let me explain some stuff real quick before we get into the nitty gritty of everything, before we get into the lockdown, before we get into rantings and ravings. You guys you probably want the updates, and this is what the updates are. I had to figure out some things about the show that weren't quite worked out, because as with shows that are starting out new, you got to figure out the formula, and I didn't really have it figured out. I wanted to kind of go back to the original theme of what the show was supposed to be 2 years ago when I started it, which is the show title name is What the Heck? And we're supposed to say, wait, what the heck's going on? But I need to focus things down a little bit. I want to get back to what the show was meant to be about, which is about one topic. We're supposed to talk the whole episode about that. And I started drifting away from that, as you may know. So we're going to focus these shows more moving forward, just so you guys know in the format. We're focusing on one topic per show. One topic. And we're going to talk about that for the whole show. And we're going to go off on tangents, and you're going to see I'm still going to do my rantings and ravings or whatever, but we're going to keep it more focused. We're going to learn stuff. We're going to talk about different things in the culture and the news. There's more to talk about now. It's not just Corona talk. We have other things. We have cultural things happening. We have worldly things happening. We have people that are emerging. There's habits that people are developing and fads and all this stuff, and we're going to talk about them episode to episode, and we're going to be able to dive deep into these topics as they come up instead of me just ranting and raving like a madman. So it's going to be more organized. And that required some thoughts and some thinking about how we do that and how I would film this and how I would edit it and all that stuff. So it all comes back together. And so that's what we're doing. And those are the changes I was making. So just be prepared for that. For every episode's going to have a theme. This theme for this episode particularly is Lockdown Part 2. That's the name of this episode probably. Because that's what we're doing. And we need to talk about that because we knew it was coming, right? We knew the lockdown was happening again, but just not in this way, I suppose. Like, you saw that video I showed you, right? So I see that video on Wednesday. So two nights ago, I'm sitting on my couch, minding my business, reading a book, and that thing comes out, right? And Eric Garcetti, stupid mamby-pamby Eric Garcetti, is like, hey, we got to lock down again. And you're like, okay, well, shit, we're going back to March or whatever. No one's going to be able to go outside, whatever the fuck. And be like, well, what are we supposed to do? And that freaked me out a little bit to see that. I'm like, oh no, we can't go outside. What the hell's going on? So let me look into this a little bit. Let me find out what the hell is going on. What the heck is going on? And so you open up the order. Let me see if I can find it. Executive order, March. Let me stay at home order. Regional stay at home order. Is that what this is? I'm trying to find the exact document, which I probably should have had ready. No, that's not it. KTLA lockdown. Eric Garcetti. Wednesday. Yeah, Matt. Hey, you should have had this. December. What was the other day? God, Matt, you're already, and this is a mess. But see, this is what happens when you redo all this stuff. I have different software running on my computer now, and that complicates things. I'm recording things on different softwares. It's all very boring. I don't want to bore you with the details, but this is what we have to do, and you're gonna have to bear with me for these first couple episodes back, because this is how it's going to be. I'm getting used to a totally new way of recording shit. So let's see what this says. Where is it? I'll just read it to you from here because it's not going to make. Oh no, wait, here it is. I found it. Okay. Let me share this. You guys, I'm telling you, this sucks, but we're going to have to get through this together. And if I'm losing listeners here, which I hope I'm not losing listeners, this is just what we're going to have to deal with. All right, see if I can copy it. Nope, that's not it. So just type in public order under City of Los Angeles Emergency Authority. And then there it is. I found it. So these are the new COVID-19 orders, and it could be different for everyone, right? Obviously, this is just for California. It's not necessarily for everybody in the United States. Obviously, you're all dealing with it differently, which is why this lockdown is different from March. The states are all doing their own thing now. And it's frustrating because at first glance, when you see this thing, you're like, oh, we're fucked. It's going to be just like March all over again. I know I already said that. But then when you read the actual order, which I pulled up on my phone after I saw this, it's like, well, wait a minute. This doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. So first of all, here's how it starts. Subject to only the exceptions outlined in this order, all persons living within the city of Los Angeles are hereby ordered to remain in their homes. Residents of Los Angeles who are experiencing homelessness are exempt from this requirement. Oh, obviously, dude. They don't have a home. The city is working along with blah, 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 blah. Subject only to the exceptions outlined in this paragraph and paragraph below. All public and private gatherings of any number of people of more than one household are prohibited, except for outdoor faith-based services described in paragraph 5 and participating in an outdoor protest while wearing a face covering. Maintaining social distancing and observing the Los Angeles County Protocol, blah, 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 blah. All traveling, including without limitation, travel on foot, bicycle, scooter, motorcycle, automobile, or public transit is prohibited. People may lawfully leave their residences while this order is in effect only to engage in the following activities. Blah, 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 blah. And then they go on the ones that are exempt, right? And then you look at the exemptions. So it starts off really scary. It's like, don't leave your house. We're staying inside forever. And then you go into the exemptions, and it's pretty much like anything you want to do, you can do. So don't go outside and walk around unless you want to go get your hair cut, unless you're getting a dentist appointment done, unless you are working at the post office, unless you're working at a grocery store, unless you just fucking feel like it. So it doesn't really mean anything because it's unenforceable. When you're telling all these people they can go out and do shit, then it's how are the cops supposed to determine who's allowed to be out and who's not? It doesn't make any sense. So shit really hasn't changed that much, I guess, but we're not supposed to be outside. Like for my job particularly, I'm not like an essential worker. I don't need to be in the office, so I'm not going to be in the office. And also, like, I'm going home in a couple of weeks to see my parents for Christmas, and I don't want to give them anything bad. So I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to stay home for the next 2 weeks, do my own little quarantine thing, make sure I'm not around anybody getting sick. If cases are getting worse, I don't want to get sick. But that law thing doesn't mean jack shit, and that's frustrating to me. Especially that part where they say protests. Because then you really lose all grasp of what this order even means. Because then, like, let's say, for example, I'm going on a run. Cops could go, all right, he's on a run. He's clearly not going somewhere. You're not supposed to be outside at all, right? So let's arrest that man. But then you go up to me and you say, hey, you can't be out and about and around. I'm just saying, hey, I'm protesting the stay-at-home order. Oh, okay, he's fine. He's protesting. He has a mask on. He's protesting the stay-at-home order. Doesn't have to fucking stay at home. He can do whatever he wants. How does that make any sense? So we're back to this place which I've been talking about since we started, you know, in doing this podcast again in May. No one knows what the hell they're talking about, which is very frustrating. You can't just throw out the, like, it almost seemed like they made this just to scare people. Just to be like, hey, this is getting worse, but there's no real rules going on. And on top of all that, they're not even following their own rules. Tell me that's not the most infuriating thing you've ever heard. You guys have all probably seen this at this point. Sorry, didn't mean to pull that up yet. Eric Garcetti, scumbag loser. Our governor, Gavin Newsom, scumbag loser. You got the mayor of Austin, scumbag loser. Mayor of San Francisco, or whoever the fuck that was, scumbag loser. They're not even following their own rules. They're telling people to stay inside, and then they're not doing it themselves. Take a look at this. If you haven't seen it yet, first of all, pack your bags and move from the rock you're living under.
Bill Illusion joining us in the studio with the story. Bill.
Yeah, guys, we were sent these photos late tonight by a woman who was actually at the French Laundry restaurant the exact same night that Governor Newsom was. Now those photos that she took are raising some new questions about the governor's claims that the dinner was outdoors, as he has repeatedly claimed. Take a look.
Tonight, a Fox 11 exclusive. We've obtained this photo of Governor Gavin Newsom dining at the luxurious French Laundry restaurant in Napa the evening of November 6th. It was a birthday dinner party for Newsom's close friend, Jason Kinney, a well-known lobbyist.
I just happened to look over and realize, hey, is that Gavin Newsom? Who is that? And I did ask one of the waitresses, and she confirmed it was.
We spoke with a woman who happened to be at the restaurant the same night, and she snapped these photos. She asked us not to identify her. When the governor issued his apology on Monday, he described the dinner as outdoors.
It was in Napa, which was in the orange status, relatively loose compared to some other counties. It was to be an outdoor restaurant.
But the photo
Okay, you get it. I'm sorry, I'm getting bored with this. I've seen it a billion times. I don't care. What the fuck? So first of all, they go on to say, he's like, it's outdoors. And then they showed the pictures of it clearly being indoors, and he gets caught red-handed. And he's like, oh, I made a mistake. This phony fucking loser gets on and is like, I made a mistake. I gotta own up to that. Fuck yeah, you gotta own up to that, dude. We're all fucking sitting here doing our best to get by. People are out of jobs. Unemployment rate's at an all-time high. And you're fucking going over to the French Laundry restaurant, having your fucking thing. Do as I say, not as I do. Stay inside unless you're me. Then I can do whatever I want because this thing is fucking bullshit, is essentially what you're saying. You clearly don't give a fuck, dude. Yes, you have to own up to it. Obviously, you have to own up to it. Fire this man. Be put in jail. There's got to be repercussions for this shit. I'm getting really fucking tired of these government officials saying one thing, then doing the polar opposite of it. It's beyond not being not fair. It's just there's got to be consequences for your actions at some point. The world is more fucked than it's been in a long time. This year's going to stick in our memory for a long fucking time. And this guy's over there eating a lobster bisque and croissants, and he's drinking Red's Apple Ale out in the fucking French Laundry restaurant. I don't know if Red's Apple Ale's French. Probably not. He's probably eating brie cheese or something. But there's people who are killing themselves. Businesses are closing down, and you're eating a croissant. Do as I say, not as I do. And that's fine. Look, if we need to go into these lockdowns and stuff, fine. But the way this is all being handled by government officials is fucking horseshit. There's no relief bills being passed. You're telling restaurants, yeah, you can dine if it's outside. So these restaurants are going through all these measures to build their shit outside. They're building restaurants outside, essentially, which, by the way, it's a whole other thing. You can't just build a fucking structure outside and say it's outdoor eating. It's indoor eating, but it's a building that's outside that wasn't outside before, but now you built it over the thing, which doesn't make any fucking sense. But they're spending all this money to do this thing. They're at half capacity. They are struggling to get by. And then you close outdoor dining based on nothing. So here's the other thing. In case you're not caught up to speed on what's going on in California, outdoor dining was fine. Obviously, we're a little bit luckier out here. It's a little bit warmer. The weather's a little bit better than other parts of the country. And they allowed people to do outdoor dining in LA. And then they shut that down based on literally nothing. They just said, oh, cases are getting higher, shut down the outdoor dining restaurants without saying at all, hey, maybe it's because of, maybe we have statistics to back this up. We have statistics that are saying all the COVID tracing we're doing is coming from restaurants, people who went to restaurants. All right, fine. If that's the case, close it down. But you can't close something down based on no evidence. That's not how these things work. And you can't close them down without giving people some kind of insight as to what your reasoning was or when the end of it's going to come about. Just because it doesn't affect you directly doesn't mean it's not affecting the world. Negative episode today, and I didn't mean to start off new season like this, but this is relevant and it pisses me off. Because imagine if you'd spent your whole life building a business and then some fuckface like Gavin Newsom tells you have to close it down indefinitely without any light at the end of the tunnel. And then he tells you can open it up again with certain restrictions. You can't have as many people as you had before, and you have to have these outdoor air and all that stuff. And opening a restaurant's hard enough as it is. One of the hardest things you can do. And you've put your heart and soul into this thing for 10 fucking years, 20 years, 5 years, a year. You wanted to open a restaurant your whole life. You decided to open it in 2020. The gods were not smiling down upon you when you opened your restaurant in January of 2020. And you do that, and then it all gets pulled out from under you. These local businesses are getting crushed, and that sucks. You can't do this shit. At least without giving them some kind of like backup too. I mean, there's so many people I'm seeing who are just like my Uber driver a couple months ago was going, he said, we need to shut down again for 2 months. Just full stop, everything shuts down for 2 months. No one's allowed to go anywhere. Oh, really, dude? Really? We just shut everything down. Because that's the way the world works. That's the way economies work. Listen, I'm no economic genius. I'm one of the stupidest people when it comes to economics. Did not do very well in that class in college. But I do know you can't just not do anything without there being some kind of money. How are people going to pay their rents? If people, okay, cancel rent. Okay, well then how are landlords going to pay their bills? Restaurants all just shut down. You can't, it's not the way things work. And I shouldn't be explaining this because I suck at explaining things because I'm a moron. But the government hasn't done anything to fix this either. I mean, look at Congress. They passed one relief bill. We got $1,200 once in what, April or May? What? That's insane. The mishandling of this has been absolutely atrocious. It's been horrible. And there's just no way around it. It happens to be election year as well, which already that's high tensions. People, whatever you think of Donald Trump, the tensions were high going into this election. You put COVID on top of that, anxiety just skyrockets throughout the whole country. And Gavin Newsom's sitting over in fucking French Laundry, drinking wine, eating cheese, farting, wearing his Balenciaga shoes. I don't know if he wears Balenciaga shoes, but that's probably what he was wearing. He looks like he's wearing something nice. It's just, I hate hypocrisy. And we're all hypocrites sometimes, but there's levels of hypocrisy, right? Like this is on such a massive scale. And the same thing with like the Austin mayor telling people you can't, he's doing a shutdown again and he's in like Cabo or something. What? Like, I don't know what these people's logic are. And it's just disheartening at the end of the day that this is what's happening. I like to think on the positive side of things coming out of this. The vaccine's going to ease people's minds. It seems like that's going to be a good thing. I don't know if I'm going to get it immediately. It might be safe. It might be totally safe. I don't want to be the first one to take it. I don't know. Call me conservative. Call me whatever. To me, it seems like, if I can hold off for a while, I'm going to probably hold off for a little while. I've been fine this far. Maybe I'm already immune. Maybe my blood is so powerful that it's just kicked COVID's ass. Or maybe I had it back in January. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but I got super sick in January of last year. Could have been COVID. It was the worst respiratory illness I've ever had. Maybe not. Maybe it was something totally different. Or maybe I'm just, like I said, my blood's athletic as shit. It beats up all the COVID and it doesn't get in my body. And my lungs beat up the COVID virus before I inhale it or something. And the timeline I like to think of, we get to January, some vaccines are out. By March, half the country has vaccines. They want them. By May, or by March, or by April, something like that, we're getting sports, normal, back to some kind of capacity. Football's starting, or the summertime, baseball and shit, whatever sports are in the summer. I'm not a sports guy. I don't know what I'm talking about. There's more sports. You're able to go out and do more things. People are vacationing a little bit more again. And by September, October, November, December of next year, we're pretty much back to normal. I don't think the masks go away. I think we're going to stay on masks forever. At least in airports and shit. And Eric Garcetti and Gavin Newsom are going to be riding high no matter what. They're not going to care. They're going to be the first ones to get the fucking vaccine. And it's going to be peachy keen for them. And they'll be gallivanting around, eating brie cheese, and wearing flip-flops on the beach from their vacation home and taking their private fucking jets and doing all these things. That guy's such, like, look at fucking pictures of Gavin Newsom. He's such an insufferable little dweeb. Gavin Newsom. Like, if you guys haven't seen the apology video he made yet, watch the whole, I'm not going to play the whole thing now, but you got to watch the whole thing. It's just, I don't know what it is about him. There's just this little, like, aura he gives off that's just infuriating, and I can't take it. I mean, look at this guy. All right. Also, before we go, I'd be remiss not to mention the election. Election's over, or is it? I don't know. I guess I don't want to talk about it too much. I don't really care at this point. It's too much mental energy that I'm expending, and I have no power over any of this. So I'm just going to say a couple things about this before we go. And then I'm going to introduce a new segment we have coming. Exciting, yay! So, however you voted in the election, I don't give a fuck. Hope you voted for whoever you wanted to vote for. But we have a problem in this country. Not listening to the other side of the aisle. I've seen too much shit on Twitter for the last couple weeks of people shitting on one another because they are saying something that the other party that they disagree with. They're saying something that's not part of their party's beliefs, whether that's with election fraud or with something that Biden said and how he's losing his mind, whatever, and people just having no tolerance for it. You guys got to understand, we're all from different backgrounds. We all have different beliefs. We all think different ways. So if you think Biden's going to be the best president ever, fine. I'm cool with that. I'm open-minded. If you think the election was robbed from him and it was stolen, fine. You're allowed to think that. I don't care. But shitting on people's intelligence because you disagree with them politically is absurd to me. I don't think there's any denying that Trump was a divisive president in a lot of ways. He didn't handle the COVID thing very well. Sorry, he didn't do a good job. Biden, yeah, the guy's he's old, all right? He's not functioning at a high level. And multiple things can be true. So maybe people really did want Trump out. When it comes to election fraud, maybe people did really want Trump out that bad. That's totally possible, and I'm happy to accept that. In my mind, Biden's president, all right? Biden's president. And that's fine. We're going to be okay. Your life's, I've been saying this for a long time. Your life's not going to change that much no matter who's president. It's going to change slowly over time, but no matter who's elected, it's not going to change tomorrow and everything goes bonkers, all right? I said the same thing when Trump was elected. However, if there is election fraud going on, you can't just discount this. There is some weird shit. I've seen some weird shit. I've seen some weird evidence. I don't know what's real and what's not. All I'm saying is, if there's even a 10% chance, a 5% chance that there's election fraud, we need to know about that. So just because they're investigating something doesn't mean they're trying to steal the fucking election. It means they're investigating our election process and making sure it's airtight and secure so that we're not getting fucked. This is the freest country in the world. So can we just accept that from both sides of the aisle, people have different perspectives on things, and multiple things can be true at once? Okay? If the election was rigged, that's a big problem. I haven't seen a whole lot of concrete evidence to back that up, but it could have been. I don't know. I'm not in these fucking conversations. I am separating myself from all of this because I have no power. But also, people on the other side of the aisle need to understand, if you support Trump, maybe Trump did just get outvoted that much. Maybe that's how much people fucking hated him. And that's a totally realistic possibility. So, and if that's the case, good. He shouldn't be president if people hated him that much. If he lost by that much, okay. That means America fucking wanted to change. So that's what I have to say about all this. Sorry to get so political. Like I told you, we're at Nothing But Politics with Matt Thomas. Nothing But Politics with Matt Thomas. And that's that. I have a new soundboard that I'm going to be using too. Sorry, I didn't really have any good times to use it during this episode. I wasn't very funny this episode. I'm sorry about that. I'm not feeling very funny today. But we're introducing a new segment now. In the last couple of minutes of the show, it's called, it's very similar to our other segment with Reddit, Advice from Strangers on the Internet, where it's called Ask a Stranger on the Internet. And so every week we're going to go, well, we might not do that. It depends on how well I can get this thing to work. But it's a new segment I'd like to introduce called Ask a Stranger on the Internet, where we go to a popular video chatting app, Omegle, and we talk to some people about what they think about the issue we've talked today. And we get some other outside perspectives on this. So, this is the new segment if I can get it to work. If not, I mean, this is the first episode I've had back. So this could all be noodly and weird. I'm going to have to figure out how to get this all working properly. And so you're going to have to bear with me until then. But here is the new segment we're doing called Ask a Stranger on the Internet. I hope you enjoy.
Just kidding. I tried recording the segment, but my audio didn't record correctly. But I'll figure it out next episode. Also, I saw a lot of penises.
Well, that's it. That's it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, a lot of shit we're dealing with. It's going to be a process as we figure this out together. It's one thing I couldn't really do and figure out all the kinks for because I don't have a team behind me. I'm doing this on my own. I'm doing it for you guys. I'm trying to make it better. Blah, 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 blah. I say it every time. Whatever. But sorry I wasn't funny today. Sorry I just yelled and screamed. It's going to be better. I promise. We're going to work out the kinks. We're going to learn about more new stuff every day. We didn't really learn about much today. I guess maybe you learned about California and how Gavin Newsom's a scumbag and Eric Garcetti's a scumbag. But every week, some of the topics you have to look forward to are what the heck's up with cosplay? What the heck is up with K-pop? What the heck is up with sneakerheads? What the heck is up with furries? What the heck is up with being confident? What the heck is up with happiness? What the heck is up with being healthy? And I might do some of those, I might not. But that's some of the things we're going to do. We're going to dive into these things. It's going to be a brand new season. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to learn some new stuff together. So I love you guys. We'll talk soon. It's good to be back. Hopefully this episode didn't suck balls. If it did, I just won't post it. But that's it for me, guys. I'll talk to you later. Stay safe in lockdown. And we'll talk next time I see you. All right, bye. See you later. Bye.